Welcome to Buried Truth. These are the scandalous stories most people skip over: betrayal, jealousy, power plays, and family drama that would make reality TV look tame. And just so you know, I don't clean it up. I get messy. I get honest. Sometimes I cuss. And I'll tell you stories from my own life that aren't exactly Sunday school material. But here's the thing. These ancient scandals weren't recorded to make anyone look polished. They were written to show that even in the chaos, something bigger was at work. So if you're ready for buried scandals, raw storytelling, and maybe a little unexpected hope, let's get into it. Now let's get into this story. Okay, you've got a gorgeous wife, a husband that I would have thrown under the bus, and a servant who was mixed all in the middle of it. Come along for this hot mess. Okay, so you might have heard this story if you grew up in the church, and I heard it and I saw it in a totally different light because I don't trust nobody. And when I heard what was going down in this marriage, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I would have, buckle up. Okay. So you have this gorgeous wife that marries this man, and he's like, girl, hey girl. Or maybe he wouldn't say hey girl, because that's how I talk to my girlfriend. But he's like, hey boo. No, not even that. Honey. Okay, let's say honey. I had this like vision where I was told by God that let's leave everything. Okay. I know that we frame it as, wow, God spoke to him, but let's be real. If your husband or man came to you and was like, listen, we're going to leave everything, pack up everything, and we're going to go to a place that you have no idea. But she does it because she loves her man, and she's like, I trust you, babe. I know you got me. I know you wouldn't do anything to put me in danger. Pause and put a pin in that. So they pack up everything and they go into this land, and everything's going good. And then all of a sudden, shit just gets real. Okay. No food, nowhere. And they're like, okay, we need to go somewhere where we know there's food, we know there's water, we know there's quote unquote safety, right? So they pack up everything again, and they go to a land that everybody's heard of, Egypt, which is still there today. And it was a rich area and, water, food, all those things. So they get into town, and his wife, like I said before, she's beautiful. And beauty can be dangerous for a man. If someone wants what you have, back then they were like, okay, I'm going to take you out. I'm take your girl, Mr. Steal your girl, And so he said, hey, before we get there, don't tell me you're my wife. Tell me you're my sister. Okay, pause. You mean to tell me that you would be meek and mild if your husband say that? I know I wouldn't. I'd be like, your sister? Oh, absolutely not. I'm turning right back and going back home with your crazy ass. Go somewhere with that. Anyway, back to the story. So she goes along with it, and guess who reaches the eye of the most notorious person there is, which we all know is Pharaoh back then. Okay. She catches his eye, and guess what? Her husband's like, okay, good luck. He wants you. You're my sister. Deuces. I'm going to get some cattle. I'm going to get some money. I'm going to get food, but you're good, right? Okay. I'll see you later. Probably not, because back then, when you became part of the harem, you never were seen again. But anyway, I digress. So then she goes into the home, husband, we have no idea where he's at, living his best life. And all of a sudden, people started getting sick in that house, in the Pharaoh's home. And then the Pharaoh realizes, wait a minute, ever since she got here, we got sick. Get out, go. You're making my whole family sick. You're the curse. You're the reason. Get her out. So think about it this way. She didn't leave because her husband was like, my bad. It's my wife. Let me have her back. Sorry. Oopsie. Here's the cattle back. Here's the money. Let me have my wife. No. it was because people got sick. And then I bet like her walking home, he's like, she looks familiar. Oh, that's my wife. Oh, hey, honey, what are you doing? Oh, everybody got sick, you jerk. And then he's over there living lavish. Anyway, couldn't be me. Couldn't be me. So then she's back home. And here's the thing during that culture. Having a child meant having a future. So if you could not have children during this time, then you were basically a curse or like something was wrong with you. Okay. So she can't have babies. And so she's stressing out because obviously her husband doesn't have her back and have her future protected because he threw her under the bus the first chance he got rolling into the city. And so she's like, you know what? There's a way I can do this, because during that time, I know it sounds crazy because we live in a different world and we're like, no, you could give your servant as basically your substitute. So the baby, if she was able to get pregnant, the baby would be considered yours. So it was just something that was a custom. And I know it sounds weird, but if you look back, there's documents about how this was okay. Okay doesn't mean that it'd be cool with me, but okay, let's just keep going with it. So she has a servant named Hagar, and she's like, hey, I need you to sleep with my husband, because this isn't in vitro. This isn't like boop, 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 medical. Let's get you the shots. Let's get you going. This is old fashioned make a baby. Okay. Now I'm jealous. And the thought of my husband hooking up with some young, sweet thing. Okay. Younger than me, probably cuter, probably just tighter booty. Everything looks better than me. And you get to just go have a night of fun. When you threw me out, when I had to go to the Pharaoh's house? No. But like I said, different times. So, and let's think about this, this servant. She had no say. It wasn't like she'd be like, you know what, Sarah, no, he's a little old, old balls. No, thank you. No, she didn't have a choice, which is just like, to me, I'm like, oh, and it's hard to understand because it's a different culture, different time. But can you imagine not having the power to say no? And then you get pregnant and then that baby isn't considered yours. Oh gosh. No. It can't be me. Thank you, Jesus, that I'm born during this time. Anyway, so she gets pregnant, and then Sarah, the wife, gets mad and starts being mean to this servant and just not being nice, like being petty because, here she is carrying, the heir and you couldn't, right? And so it gets to a point where she's so awful that she throws her out. Or no, I'm sorry. Back up. This is the time she runs away. Sorry. Hagar runs out into the wilderness. Okay, now picture this. This is not, we live in a city where we can go and get some water at Starbucks and our Wi-Fi. This is, they're in the middle of nowhere. So her running out to the desert meant death. Like, she's going to die. You gonna die today. And she gets there. And this is the most beautiful and underrated thing that I think people tell this story differently. Because during a time where women weren't considered valuable, God speaks to her and tells her, like he sees her and that he's going to be with her. Okay. And in that moment, she's like, oh, I'm seen. I'm not only am a woman, I'm seen by something greater. And so that is huge. And I don't want to minimize that, because during this time, a woman's word was nothing. So Hagar goes back and she has a baby, and it's a boy, Ishmael, which is Abraham's first son. And so Sarah is just like fit to be tied, because here she is having his baby. I can't have him. And miracle upon miracles, she's pregnant, and she's old. I mean, she's past the age of giving birth. Okay. And we ain't talking like over 40 because I have a problem with people saying, oh, you're old. Back up. My grandma had her last baby at 50. Okay. Granted, she has 17 kids, but that's a whole nother Oprah. So let's just picture it. Is she 70, maybe 80? No, wait, was she 100? She was old. I have to look at it. Okay. She was old, bitch. Sorry, Sarah, you weren't a bitch, but you kind of were to Hagar. Anyway, so miracle upon miracle, she has this baby, Isaac, and, and then fast forward, Ishmael makes fun of Isaac. So then Sarah's like, not my baby. Absolutely. No. You ain't gonna treat my baby like that, which I get it, because whenever my son comes home and he looks a little down, I'm like, who do I need to take out? Because nobody's hurting my kid. Okay. I might be a helicopter mom, but this isn't my therapy appointment. Okay. This is very truth. So she tells her husband, throw her out, get her out of my house. And so, of course, what does he do? He does it. And he does it because God promises that he's going to take care of her. Okay. So he knows that she's going to be taken care of. But let's get into her mindset. You're throwing me out. And he gave her some bread and some water. And I was like, deuces, good luck. That was a death sentence, sending her out to the desert. Okay. And she knew that. But what can she do? She has no power. No, nothing, right? So she goes out and she walks, and then she finally gets to a point where she's like, I'm going to die. I'm in the middle of the desert. She puts her son in a place so she doesn't see him die in front of her because it's a death sentence. And God meets her again and says, he's not going to die. And then there's some water, like a oasis where she can drink. And then the child survives. So I'm telling you this story because I want you to be in the mindset of Sarah and Hagar. Okay. Your husband did not protect you. You can't have a child. Your husband gets to sleep with this woman, and Hagar has no power. Then she gets thrown out of her home. And we kind of like jump over that because these were real people and real hurt. And the beautiful thing about that is that's not the end of the story. And this is why I tell these stories, because it is bigger than us. And I want you to realize that even though these people were a hot mess, hot mess, I might be messier. No, I never had my husband sleep with somebody else, have a baby. So anyway, but I'm messy. But that is why this matters. Now, why was that story so important? Because Sarah, she's remembered as the mother of nations, but she was guilty of jealousy and schemes. Abraham is remembered as the father of faith, but guilty of lies and fear. And Hagar is remembered for her being the one who says God sees. Okay, so why are all these important? God used them anyway, because through their line came Jesus, the heir who redeems, not discards. That is the whole point of this story, is that God uses messed up people to bring forth his plan. And whatever his plan is, that plan was Jesus, because through that line of Isaac, Sarah, Abraham, Isaac, and through the whole line is where Jesus came through. And he is the hope for us because of our mess and because of what we are incapable of doing, which is be perfect, because that is what God calls us to, is to be perfect. We can't. Jesus was perfect for us. That's the gospel. That's the truth. It's not having it all together. It's not putting a bow at the end. It's bringing your messy, raw lives under his lordship. That's the very truth. And this is the messy middle. This is where we actually live. between grace and the drama that still spills out of us. And do I have some drama to share? Buckle up, because this is where I share my messy moments so you can feel, oh, she doesn't have it together. And then you get to hear my crazy ass. Okay, so I feel for Sarah. I do, because I've done some things to jump ahead and be like, you know what? I'm going to manipulate the situation. And we've all been there because we want the right outcome, or what we think is the right outcome. Okay, let me tell you about my one of the many stories I have, and how I don't fit into church. Because if I tell these stories, they're going to say, Mistress Anna, you don't have to be coming here on Sundays anymore. You can go home. So mind you, this is one of the older stories. So it was years ago. My ex-husband had an affair, and I shared that a little bit before. But this is where it gets good. Okay. This is where the gossip's juicy. Okay. So I can't remember if we were divorced yet or in the process of divorce. Anyway, I can't remember the timeline because it's been a minute and my ADHD can't handle it. So I'd gone over to my husband / ex-husband, whichever one he was at the time, his house to pick up something for our son. I had to grab something, and our son wasn't with us. I don't remember why, but anyway, and he gave me that look, you know the look I'm talking about. Like, he was checking me out like I was some sweet thing. Because I was cute back then. Oh, I was cute. I mean, I'm still cute. I'm a little thicker now, but anyway, but I'm still cute, I think. Anyway. So he gives me the look, and I'm looking at him like, wait a minute, you left me to double dip somewhere else. So what's this look for? And he was like, you'll always be my wife, some bullshit line that got me hook, line, and sinker. And I was like, oh, okay, dumb. And so I thought, I'm going to get him back. I'm going to give him that good. And y'all know what good I'm talking about. And I thought, I threw it down, girls. I threw it down. It wasn't really worth it looking back. Because once you have good stuff, like real good stuff, you realize, oh, that wasn't good. Man, I could have had a V8. Anyway, back to the story. So my petty ass thought, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to call that home wrecker, because they were still together. I don't know if she was living there or they were broken up. I don't know. Like I said, the timeline's a little sketchy, but I knew they were together. But I was like, well, he did it with you. I'm going to do it to you to teach you a lesson. So then I call her up. Boop, 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 boop. Hey, you know who it is. And she's like, what's up? And I said, I have a question for you. How does my taste? And y'all know what the is. We grown. I don't need to tell you what it meant, because then you know what I mean by taste it. And she said, what? I said, you heard me. How it tastes? Fresh, because it's recent. Yes. I thought I got her. Yes, that's right. I had your man. Well, he was my man. She had him, and then I had him. And so then did I have her sloppy seconds? Anyway, it's beside the point. Point being, I thought I had one on her, because you know what it came down to? I wanted her to hurt, and I wanted her to feel the pain, and I wanted him to come back and be like, yep, I knew it. She's the one I was supposed to be with all along. Well, how dumb am I? This man cheated on you, left you when you were going through the worst time of your life during postpartum depression, out there in the streets while you were trying to survive. And I wanted that mofo. Please, girl, please. This is the now Drasana, because now I'm in a different headspace. I have an amazing husband who just, he puts it down, girls. He puts it down. But more than that, he just shows me what love is. So anyway, back to the old Drasana, the old hoe. Well, would I be a hoe if it was my man and I just stay with him and I wasn't out hoeing because I wasn't my hoe year yet? Okay, I digress. Point being, I thought that I could manipulate a situation. And of course, it did not end the way I thought it did. It should. And I was devastated. But it wasn't where I was meant to be. It wasn't. And I couldn't see it because I thought I knew better, that I had a better plan for my life. And you know what? I didn't, because I wouldn't be where I am today. I wouldn't have had my other son. And that's a whole nother story with who his dad's not the greatest, but I have this amazing kid. I wouldn't be where I am today if I would have got the ending I thought I should get. So that being said, doesn't mean it was perfect, doesn't mean it was easy, but it's worth it. But that's my petty side, and I want you to see me through and through, that I can be a petty bitch too. All right. Next week on Buried Truth, the cycle doesn't stop, it escalates. You can catch Buried Truth on Spotify, Apple, and YouTube. And if there's a story you want my messy take on, or your own messy story of your own, email me at buriedtruthpod@gmail.com. Stay curious, stay rooted in truth.